Hi, this is Don Higgins at Crew Chief Software. I am going to go over some quick new things that we're doing in 2015 on our new Crew Chief Pro 7.8 version. I think you'll really like many of the changes. We're going to cover the new link with Time Slip Simulator, a company out of Australia that started doing this reenactments of your runs. To get there, you'll need first to get a code from us. We'll start with the bracket race ones. Pull up a quarter-mile run up on the screen. We'll go to the opponent area. Once you put your opponent information in here and you get a code set up, a button down here called the Time Slip Simulator. If you just click it, it'll pull all that information over to a visual representation of the run. Now, this is pretty cool. It takes just a second. I would suggest making it full screen up here in the upper right. Let's go through their screen. Of course, these things may change a little bit over time, but the top is whether you want sound on, full speed, which is the normal speed that will watch it, half speed if you click it again, or even quarter speed, which will show you how that works. It's really pretty cool. Hide is to hide all the menus. When you click it, all those menus disappear. Bottom right is the AP on. Basically means if you want us to stop at the finish line and show you the representation at the finish line. Below that is the TV mode, where you can go look ahead mode, watch opponent, look down, in the normal quarter view. You can also switch lanes, right lane or left lane. On the left hand side is time slip, which is the elapsed time information that comes over, play and pause. And the race result will come up after the race is finished. So let's begin here. First thing I'm going to do is turn this to my lane. I'm going to go to the right lane and I'm going to look to my opponent, and then all I want to do now is click play. Move through the entire run. Again, I can slow it down right before the finish line to quarter speed or half speed if I want to watch it. It's pretty cool actually. Once somebody gets to the finish line and the video stops when the AP is on, you have to click resume in order to get the results. And once it's done, the result will come up and it'll show you their representation of the finish line. It'll list the names, car numbers. Of course, you won't list your car number because it's just your car. We'll know what lane you are if you properly put the run in for Crew Chief. But it lists their margin of victory and their distance in the MOVD area. So let's say we want to change that. We can go to the TV mode. We can look on top. Now we can play it again and see how it looks. You can see it took quite a bit of stripe. We'll try this one more time. This time we're going to go to right lane. I'm going to look at my opponent and I'm going to hit play, and as I approach the finish line I'm going to switch it to half speed and then down to quarter speed, and that way I can get super slow motion right through the lights. There's some really neat things you can do here. That was a quarter-mile all-out run. If you properly put the information into Crew Chief, if it's an 1/8 mile run, it'll work fine on 1/8 mile also. I'm going to close it. Also, you'll notice on the bottom right we added the little happy minions when you win, because that's just how I do things. So let's pull up. We'll pull up an 1/8 mile run. I want to bring your attention also is that the elapsed time information that Crew Chief will utilize is here in the middle where it's in red, either quarter mile or 1/8 mile. It's the original elapsed time, because if you were on the brakes and hit run completion, we don't want to use that information because it will skew the results. So we use the original elapsed time information before you do run completion. So just remember, you go to opponent information before you do run completion to keep the information correct. I'm going to hit Time Slip Simulator on an 1/8 mile. Again, eventually you'll be able to switch to door car, dragster. They say a lot of things are coming. So this time I'm going to leave it alone, just hit play. zoom down here to finish the run. It says that I won because I was in the right lane. Again, I can look at the race results. Way too much stripe. So that's how we do it when the opponent area. But a super cool new feature in Crew Chief is also Finish Line Manager. So you just watched a video of what the run looked like afterwards. Let's now watch a run the way it should have looked before we ran this person. So we go to Finish Line Manager tab, and we'll transfer over the dial-in over here on the right-hand side to what we actually ran, just so we have a perfect representation of what it should look like before we run somebody. And we click Time Slip Simulator in the bottom right. Now this is going to assume reaction times are similar, and we just hit play again. This is how the run should look before we ever run them. Pretty close. So now let's pull up a run where there's a big disparity in the elapsed time, just so we can see a big difference at the finish line. I'll use my search menu, search all runs. I'm going to pull up a run that I didn't win, but should have. Go to Finish Line Manager, and we'll put the elapsed time information in the way it should have been. So we're going to move him to what he actually ran in the quarter mile area, which was an 8.01, and I should have run about a 7.66. So here I click on Time Slip Simulator. In this case I'm going to go to the I'm going to go look at my opponent, and I'm going to hit play. He leaves first because he's the slower car. As we near the finish line, I'm going to slow it down to half speed and then quarter speed. And this is how it should have looked, where we're virtually dead even, where the roll bar covers his roll bar area. Then I know it's really a close race. But that's the neat part about reducing the speed down, so you can see things, how it should look before you ever run somebody. Go back to full speed. So let's see how it really looked after the race. Again, I go to my opponent information tab. It's all filled in. And it's got the little guy banging his head into the wall because I gave it back to him. So let's see on the Time Slip Simulator what that really looked like. Again, I'm going to switch it over to watching my opponent. And this is what really happened. I'll hit play. He launches, I launch. As I approach the finish line, I'm going to slow it down a little bit to half speed and quarter speed. He's there first, because I dropped. For some reason, I don't even know, but I did. And I lost. So the race result was that he took a 3-foot victory, and that's what it shows approximately in that area. Pretty cool. I think you guys will really like it, especially if you're trying to train yourself how to drive better at the top end. Those of you that are trying to help your son or daughter in junior drag, I would suggest that you use this in order to teach them top end driving tactics. How we do that is we can go into Finish Line Manager and we can change a few parameters. We can say, on Finish Line Manager, we can say, okay, what if he's holding 200s? He's dialed, he can run an 801, let's say he dials an 803. And in my case, let's say I'm dialed dead honest. Where is it going to look at, say, right towards the finish line? We can do that and run through some scenarios to help prepare ourselves. If somebody's holding a couple hundredths, what does the race look like? Again, we make it full screen. Okay, so I'll switch it to watching the opponent. Actually, I'm going to play as the opponent this time. I'm going to hit play. And this is if the opponent is going to play the top end. This is how it's going to look as you approach the finish line, you can see that he's ahead of us. He'll have to back into us, but you can actually pause it right at the, say, the mile-an-hour cone to teach, okay, this is where he's going to be, or at the 1,000 foot. If he's holding a couple, this is what it's going to look like inside the car. It's pretty cool. You can replay that again as if he was dead honest and see what the difference is. I think it's a great coaching tool for all racers, but I think it'll be a wonderful coaching tool for those junior dragster racers trying to understand how to drive the top end. The other thing that's new in Crew Chief software is our new Crew Chief #1 formula. Left click on it, it'll bring up a list of what do you want in the formula. This is where you can design your own formula completely separate from the other formulas that are listed on there. The reason we do this is so you can have a different look, not only in terms of weather, but you'll have other weather factors that weren't even available as an option. So in this particular case, I've chosen adjusted altitude and grains, but I could just as easily do other things. We do have a new formula on the bottom that's a test formula. It's called Vapor HP Correction. It's a Don Higgins exclusive thing that we're trying. I came up with my own mathematical formula that's an adjusted horsepower correction based on water content in the air. So I can choose that and then save. And it changes how the formula works for Crew Chief #1. It will not touch vapor pressure or your chosen formula, which is done on the list right below. There'll be webinars coming up that will cover all this and more in great detail. I just wanted a quick video of what we're doing and where we're going with Crew Chief software. A lot of really neat things are coming. Thanks for watching. Again, this is Don Higgins at Crew Chief Software. If you got any questions, give us a call or email.